what the fuck is going on with these UFOs? Because like coming off the week when everyone was coming off Chinese Balloon Week, if that wasn't enough, just in 3 separate incidents over the weekend, there's just different shapes over Canada and Alaska. They go first, it's a cylinder, it's an octagon. We're smoking them out of the sky, Top Gun Pete Maverick Mitchell style. But seriously though, like they keep just referring to these objects. There's just shapes up there that they're constantly noticing now, but they're shooting them.
No, they're shooting them down.
They're shooting them down.
But what they are, never mind. Which is honestly, it makes me think that after the others have said this, but I think it makes the most sense. After the embarrassment of the hoopla of the Chinese spy balloon thing, whatever, they started paying more attention to stuff that, top level military preparedness or whatever doesn't normally notice. And all of a sudden, this stuff that's like, local weather balloons put up by like, some university meteorology department or something that would never otherwise have gone on their literal radar are now being picked up and shot down. And so this is an it's like when 2 cops shoot each other during when they pull somebody over because like they heard a car backfire. That's what they're doing on a stratospheric scale. And they're just like, yeah, we shot it down. Never mind what it is. Because they don't want to be talking about how embarrassing they are.
No, it's Ospreys and F-35s completing successful flights. And they can't believe it. They're like, wait, someone flew an Osprey from Manitoba to Saskatchewan and it didn't kill all 20 Navy SEALs on board?
The propellers didn't just drop off? What the fuck?
Remember when they flew a bungler in one of those over New York?
That was wild.
That was like
they were trying to assassinate him.
Yeah, that was like the closest anyone ever got to killing a bungler.
I don't know. It's just like it's like the object shooting gallery that's going on in our skies right now. Like that in conjunction with the fact that I learned this weekend that Noah Baumbach's adaptation of Don DeLillo's White Noise, including the airborne toxic event trail derailment scene, was filmed in East Palestine, Ohio, and featured residents of that town being extras in the airborne toxic event, soon to be repeated in reality, which reads like a plot to another Don DeLillo novel that hasn't been written yet. Like I said, I think the archons in charge of this reality have basically run out of creativity and they're recycling old plot lines. I don't know what's going on here, but in terms of the
and
objects,
think of sorry to interrupt, but like consider this too. Don DeLillo is also in one of the longest running comedy series of all time. It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, who just lost the Super Bowl.
Philadelphia Eagles. There you go. I mean, I don't know. It's just like these things. They just keep happening and they keep rhyming with things. I will say about the objects. Okay, like obviously, always good to border. Lean towards skepticism on these things. But in the in the media accounts of these UFO style incidents, they just keep referring to them as unidentified objects. They don't say flying. And in the accounts of it, I think they're being very cagey with like, you remember when we covered like when the Navy dropped that like, oh, like UFOs are real and like there's these like just glowing orbs that, like shift in and out of reality, or they change direction in a way. They have no known means of propulsion. The octagon and the cylinder that they shot out, they just said that they were unidentified objects, and they seem to imply that they were not like phase shifting out of reality. Or, like I said, like changing directions with incredible velocity, unknown of any source of propulsion. So, there still are just shapes in the atmosphere somewhere. So, don't know what's going on with that. But I just think it's interesting that like we seem to be Chinese spy balloon week, sort of kindling the flames of a new Cold War. UFOs, very much a huge part of Cold War culture. Like I said, it seems like a lot of plot lines are being recycled here, but. I don't know. I mean, like, Matt, you and I were talking about this. It doesn't seem convincing to me that, like, the UFOs are a psyop to distract us from other things, because they're not covering those other things either, or the UFOs. So I don't know what's going on with this. I really don't. I've lost the plot.
It would suck so much if, like, aliens mastered intergalactic travel and, like, manipulation of time and space, but they just lost to, like, 24-year-old Air Force Reserve pilots.
See, that's why I don't think it could be aliens. I don't think that they're getting shot down by aircraft that can't travel when it's raining.
Yeah.
Something that can like phase shift through reality or travel faster than the speed of light is not getting murked by a fucking thing that was assembled from 500 different factories and falls apart at the first moisture beating on its surface.
And here's another thing. Like, okay, remember when they shut down the Chinese balloon? There was like we had video and photographs of it like deflated on the ground somewhere in South Carolina. So where are these objects? I know they shot them down over like Lake Huron or like off the coast of Alaska or something. But I would like some follow up on efforts to recover the atmosphere shapes that we're shooting now.
Yeah, that's why I think it's just like regular weather balloons because it's just embarrassed.
So the idea is like, okay, so political hay was made over Biden taking too long to shoot down the balloon. So now they're like, okay, it's like in an office basically. They're like, oh, the supervisors, he's walking around the cubicles, better look busy. So they're just, it's like a fucking just free fire zone on all the shapes that are up there, and they could just be like some random university's weather balloon, could be some sort of wildcat drone scenario, or I'm not ruling it out entirely. Could just be we're just smoking aliens up there. We're just killing them. They keep showing up, and we just murk them on site.
That would be so depressing.
I don't know if we're lucky enough.
That would suck.
I don't know if we're lucky enough to have a first contact situation that we immediately bungle by shooting it with an F-22.
Imagine if Joe Biden was the president during Halo.
I talked to this broad. She's Cortana, Jack. She lives in my eyes now. She lives in my eyeball.
It's ironic they call him the prophet of truth because he hasn't given me the straight dope 1 second of one day.
No, but seriously, what is happening here? What is going on here? And also lost in the shuffle of the UFO drama is the fact that it was Justin Trudeau who ordered one of these fucking shapes shot down with a U.S. Air Force plane. What's going on with that? Doesn't Canada have their own Air Force? How come our brave pilots are taking orders from Justin Trudeau? That's what I want to know. NATO.
That's what NATO is. NATO is when a man named Justin causes intergalactic war. That's really what it means.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, is this a psyop or is this just it just seems like if you're coming up with something to distract people with, you should do something that has like a better answer, because this just seems to be this seems to have a better story to go along with it. And like, what is this to distract us from? Because like, it's not the train derailment, because no one's paying attention to that anyway.
I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a psyop. I think like, you remember how like with the initial Chinese weather balloon story, they're like, oh yeah, and this also happened like 8 times under Trump or whatever. Yeah. I think this just like this happens probably more than we think, and like, I don't know. Fucking the slow news week. Whether you're doing a podcast or the regular news, you're like, damn, this news is boring as shit.
Well, I gotta say,
and you're like, the aliens or the predators here.
Well, I gotta say the space shapes are more interesting to me than the debt ceiling negotiations. But I would like to know, like, how are these shapes staying in the air?
I mean, it's a balloon.
Okay, it's a balloon.
That's the only thing that makes sense. Is it's some sort of? They're just balloons. It's on site for all balloons now.
Yeah,
Thank you, China. We can't have nice balloons anymore. They're gonna fucking send like A-10 warthogs to strafe the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade.
What if the balloons were like in China? China's sort of like, I don't know, it's sort of mirrored the Democratic Party, where like they have a young guard of like upcoming like market socialist quasi neoliberals, and like what if it's that faction, that rogue faction of like Chinese Pete Buttigieg's who are like, we should send friendship balloons to America to show them that like the Hu Jintao era is coming back soon once we get rid of Xi Jinping. And people just interpreted it as like a brutal act of war.
Goku and Pikachu have been spotted over Alaska and compromised to a permanent end.
Yeah.